The New York Knickerbockers.
Mm-hmm.
They won 50 last year. They were expected to win 53. 7th in offense, 10th in defense, 30th in pace. They made the Eastern Conference semifinals and were stricken with a number of injuries.
Mm-hmm.
They have Jalen Brunson. They acquired Mikal Bridges. They get a full season out of OG Anunoby, hopefully, or at least as much as his body allows. Mitchell Robinson missed quite a bit of time last season as well. They're deep with Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart coming off the bench, along with Deuce McBride, who really stepped up in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
This is an over for me.
Okay.
Julius Randle also missed quite a bit of time last year. Basically, like, all of their guys missed quite a bit of time, except for Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
They acquired Mikal Bridges. Dante didn't miss time. That's false. Dante did not miss much time last year.
Dante and Josh played.
Yeah, they were the 2
billion minutes.
But they acquire Mikal Bridges. You hopefully get more games out of Mitch. You hopefully get more games out of Randall. You definitely get more games out of OG, at least. I think this is an over.
Should be over.
And Tibbs is going to like grind them into the ground to make it an over.
Well, so I guess my only concern is we talk about like, okay, the injury, but like we're in year 4 of Tibbs there.
Sounds right. I can look that up while we're talking.
And
sounds right. I think this might be 5, but
4 or 5. So like, but like the concern is there tends to be 5. A point where the Tibbs teams, the tread really starts to wear off the old tires.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's already been grinding them. So like I don't know if I am a part now. He does have now Mikal's new, OG's fairly new.
That was going to be my point. Like,
so, maybe
Josh Hart,
fresh tires on the old car.
Yeah, this is Josh Hart's second full season. This is Dante's second season. This is OG Anunoby's first full season. This is Mikal's first full season. Like, I kind of think that they've done a good job of turning over the Tibbs wear and tear.
I guess my biggest concern is when you lose Hartenstein.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a lot of, this is kind of along the lines of my Pacers concern, is how much faith do you have in Precious and Jericho filling time if we get just 50 games of Mitch, which is not out of the realm of possibility? 50, 60 of Mitch, like 60 would feel like a good season for Mitch, I think. How much do you lean on that? Now, I was encouraged to hear that Tibbs is already willing to open the Julius Randle at the 5. He's already breaking that glass. Like, he's willing to do that. He's talking about it for 10, 15 minutes. But that is encouraging because I think that opens up a lot more opportunity. That is something they're going to need to do to keep Mitch's wear and tear down. Like, they're going to have to find ways to get creative with that 5 spot. I like hearing that from him. That's a good sign. There's a mild pause for concern there. You obviously shouldn't have any issues integrating Mikal in because obviously the Villanova guys all know how to play with him. Your biggest on-ball guy knows how to play with him. He's going into a more familiar, more comfortable role. We saw him struggle on the ball in terms of being a lead creator. That's no longer the task for him. I think he's going to be fantastic. Trying to dribble against him and OG is going to be a nightmare for opposing wings. Yeah. Like, just not going to be fun. If Mitch can give you 60, like, hammer. If it's more like 40, you have a little more concern. But again, like, they should be able to get over. And I mean, we saw last year they'll throw OG at the 5, Julius at the 5 in a pinch. But like, I'll ride with you. Let's go over. I'm with you. I do think there's going to be a pretty significant break at the top of the East. I think it's going to be a really wide margin between 7 and 8. I
agree. So here's kind of my take on Mitch, right? So Mitchell Robinson, I'm with you. Like, you can count on him for, I don't know, 50 50 games, let's say, right? Typically, that's going to be like early in the season, those 50 games where you can get him. They immediately become the best like buyout destination for a Clint Capella or for like a big that hits the market.
Sure.
Right. And like Precious can eat minutes.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, regular season, again, like this is probably a playoff problem, not a regular season problem that I am once again hung up on.
Honestly, I think it is a regular season problem. Like if Mitchell Robinson was to miss, games very early in the season, like if he was to miss like the first 25 games, like, okay, how does Tibbs handle that? That's like a real regular season question mark to me.
Sure.
So I don't think I disagree with you that it's a regular season problem, but I just think that like this team is so loaded that they were already expected to be a 53 win team last year based off of their net rating. And you add Mikal Bridges and you add a full season of OG. Like, that's I don't know. They're also deeper than what they were last year. Like it might not look it when you look at the bottom and it's like, oh yeah, Jericho Sims and Campaign are here. But like, look, Tyler Kolek, like I think can play NBA minutes. They just signed like Landry Shamet and Marcus Morris. Like those guys are not, they're good.
Literally the only depth
guys.
My only depth issue is the centerpiece. Like I just don't think they ever were fully able to get that. Like if they had somehow got Hartenstein back, like this number is probably like 54.5 and I'd be hammering the over still. Like, that's my only concern, but it was still a lean over for me, but like I can ride with an over. Cause again, like I do think there's a separation. There's going to be a big win gap and they got to go somewhere. It's going to go to teams like this.
Yeah. My big issue is like, they just have so many, and I said this on the last show, literally, but like they have so many different ways to solve problems the teams present them with. Sure. Right. And it's not based off of like scouting insights. It's based off of just like lineups that Tibbs can throw out there like any given night. And he's going to be able to do that. Right. Like that's where you can like rack wins a little bit in the regular season. I think too, is like, okay, we have different answers to different problems where like we might not being like, super in depth scouting wise, but we're going to throw Mikal and OG at the 3 and the 4 with Dante and Jalen and Julius at the 5, or, maybe we take Julius off the court. Like they have so many different ways to solve problems to me right now that, I think that they're in a really positive position. And Randall, like another guy, by the way, if he doesn't sign an extension in a contract year,
Randall,
really important for him to have a good season in order to get paid again.
Yeah. And I mean, you can never forget the dog in him levels on this team are through the roof, and that matters in the regular season. Like we saw it last year. Like they had stretches where it was like Jalen and Josh and Dante just like willing this team to wins because that's what they do. They're wired that way. So like, all right, you talked me into it. Let's go over.